let's kick off. Okay, so first question's from Flavios. And he says, do you think it's a good strategy to create a month-long content in advance? You know, sort of like, 30 Instagram pics, 2 singles posts every other week, that kind of thing, in order for a band to gain momentum and build an early identity without anticipating feedback and likes, which in turn might discourage enthusiasm?
Yes. You need to turn off your internet only because with my computer, you're going to get loads of crap coming up. So that's a really good question. And the answer to that is, yeah, I do. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Because just like with songwriting and what I have on my phone, so literally goes with me, not that phone, this phone, I have lists of everything. So I literally, every time an idea comes up that pops into my brain where I'm talking to someone on it might be a Skype, it might be I'm talking to them on Facebook, and all of a sudden I just think that's a good point. I need to get that point out there. I write it down, just like a songwriter, a title might come in. Because if I don't have that, what happens is, like today, for example, after this, I have got the mother of all days. It's just crazy busy, and I want to try and do a video later. I cannot wait to be inspired, and sometimes I just don't have the time. And so Sarah might be saying, we need to do a video because we need to get a video out, and I'm like, where am I going to fit it in? I haven't got the time. So. It's a lot of the time we do fly by the seat of our pants, where we are literally like, oh god, we've got to do a video, we've got to get it out. I really want to get something out every day. This is about daily content, and I really think that you guys need to be thinking about daily content in some form or another. And if you've got Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, it's still daily content. You chose to have that many platforms. Tough. You got to live with it. And so if you are getting together with a band once a week, then yeah, I would be making 3 or 4 things that I can then spread out. So I tend to think of it with a pillar system. So at the moment, I'm building a new social media business. I've got a meeting right after this with a client who we're going to talk about stuff. But for me, it's all about a pillar system. And this is what I would be doing with the band. I would be making long form content. I'd be making a piece of content which is like this show, which is 30, 40 minutes or 20, 30, 40 minutes, which is for me, it's for YouTube. Then what I would do is I'd be looking at breaking it down and then repackaging it and repurposing it into different social media. What I wouldn't do is, I like the idea of being able to build up content to then spread it out. But what I wouldn't want to do is I wouldn't want to go, right, we're going to make all of this content for Instagram, then start again and go, right, we're going to make all this fresh content for Facebook, right, start again. We're going to make all of this fresh content for YouTube, because then it gets too much. So what's really important is that you are making content that you can then break down. And yes, some people will follow me on Facebook, YouTube and Instagram, and some people will go, oh, I've seen that one on Facebook, or I've seen that bit on Instagram. But I try and repackage it so that unless you are on the YouTube and you get the long form video, I'm trying to make it so it has purpose for everything and it's different. And some people will see a couple of things twice, but on the whole, it's different audiences, differently packaged, there's different text to go with it. And then when you're breaking it down, what's really important is you're not just thinking of video. So because as creatives, as musicians, you can think about the visuals of a picture, the visuals of video. Audio is so crucial as a musician. The written word, like podcasting, there's so many things that you can take one piece of content and strip it down for parts and then distribute it into different places, which I would love to see more bands doing. And it's a lot less time consuming than if you're having to make fresh content all of the time. So for me, if I were doing that, I would get together once a week and I'd have like social media time, and I would have 3 or 4 things planned that we were going to do that we could then spread out over the week. And then I'd also have me or someone else in the team break that down on how we're going to put that into Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn, or however we want to then spread it over the social media. So I do think it's a good idea. Social media is absolutely at its best when something's real.
Yeah. It
completely is. You are going to get the most amount of traction. You know, if you put a camera on just at the point where something really funny's happened and you're going, oh my God, this is hilarious, I've got to tell you about this, this is so funny, the audience is there with you.
Yeah.
If the next day you say, let me tell you this funny story that happened yesterday, it was really hilarious, they're not in the moment with you, so it doesn't feel as real. But what we've got to do is we've got to strategize the best way of doing it. And it is just not feasible for a band to live together, work together and be together at all time for most of these bands. So in which case, we've got to make the best of a situation. So if it can't be on the spot, and I'd still be looking at doing stuff on the spot, you know, I'd still be looking at doing Facebook Lives, I'd still be looking at actually creating content there and then in the moment, like Insta stories or Snapchats. But if you can't do that, I would absolutely start building stuff up so you've got things coming out, because consistency is the name of the game in this. We've got to be consistent. So, and a real bugbear, a real pet peeve is, because I get so many messages come through, and a lot of them revolve around very similar things. But this week, and I might do a rant on this later, but this week I've had so many people, probably because of the negativity around the Facebook algorithm, just saying, oh, I'm not getting the reach that I want, I'm putting stuff out and I'm not getting the reach. And then I go onto their Facebook and I'm like, you put three things out, 3 bits of content out a month.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not building a relationship. Like, imagine if like we talked 3 times a month. You wouldn't be like, you're my best friend.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't. Like, it's just not the way it works. Especially when one of them you go, but that's the video and that's the thing that I want. And this is me changing my profile pic. Oh, and that's me inviting you to a gig. It's like, okay, so 3 bits of content, 1 bit of value.
Yeah.
In 12 months. You times that every single month for an entire year, what are you going to do? 12 pieces of valuable content. And you think that's enough. You think that you're going to compete on a level with bigger bands by putting out 1 piece of content a month. Like, times have changed. This is the time where you have to put out valuable content at least 2, 3, 4 times a week, if not every day. Not because, and this is the important thing, you don't have to put valuable content out every day because you can. That doesn't matter. You have to put out that much content because that's what people expect now.
Yeah.
People want more. They don't care. If you go missing, all that happens is you go missing and they move on to the next person. So
would you say it's a balance of planning ahead and trying to do real kind of at the same time kind of content as well?
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm transparent with all of the stuff that I'm doing because I want to be able to learn more, and I want to be able to give you guys the stuff that I'm learning, because I'm working on this with people literally 24/7. So I'm not just doing it and going, oh, I tried this, I'm saying I'm doing this every single day. I'm telling you what works. It's things like Twitter. If you're on Twitter and you're a big fan of Twitter works best when you're in the moment and you are on Twitter. However, it's not feasible for most people to just sit on Twitter all day. So you need to have certain things which are just triggering engagement, which is where something like Hootsuite's really good for, to say, here's my pillars which carry on. So I've got a few things that I'm hooking up for the next couple of weeks. But then I'm on Twitter making sure that all my notifications are on, so when something comes through that I'm chatting with people, it's just strategies that you can say, it is not feasible for me to live in social media land when you've got the band to sort out, the songs to sort out, getting all the organisation of the band sorted out, going on tours, putting the tours together, all of that stuff, and then going, by the way, I've also got a full-time social media job with this. I know it's not feasible, but people's expectation and consumption is still the same. That won't change. Just because you can't do something doesn't mean people won't care. Yeah. So your job, in which case, is to be the best of the situation, and that is a good idea, to actually just say, well, in which case, let's get together and start making more long-term content and breaking it down so that we have got a bunch of content in the bag ready to go out over a period of time. It's good. It's a good idea.
Yep.